back where we belong, up on the peak, up for our morning hike. Just gonna take it in the afternoon because it was just too flipping cold this morning to come up here. It's been too cold to come up here the last few days, to be honest. But today it's now up to about 10 Celsius. That's about 52 Fahrenheit. Bonjour, ça va? Welcome to Hong Kong, where we are up on our morning walk just a few hours after morning ended. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. It's about 3:18 when Tuesday afternoon. My son is just getting out of school. I'm getting on a school bus. He'll be home in a half hour. 3:18 in the afternoon. It is a little windy up there, yeah. Let's go a bit higher, where the view is more interesting. It's about 50 Fahrenheit, and we've had a couple days of 40s, so it's a bit better. It's been pretty bad. 118 there. It must be in the central time zone. I walk a lot. This is my regular morning hike. Just a bit later than normal. For those of you who were watching earlier, we had sushi down here at the Macau Ferry Terminal, the building with those little red stripes. That's the Macau Ferry Terminal. Now we're up on the peak, looking back down on creation, and the only explanation that I found. I'm on the top of the world, 0 in Bordeaux. Oh no, what will happen to the wine? What will happen to the grapes? Will they freeze? Maybe that's what gives it its taste. A bit of a traffic jam in central Hong Kong right now. I can see from up here even. The cars are backed up. See that? Look at that backup. There's a lovely view. Let's go down one more. There's another viewpoint down here. Hey, welcome to Periscope, and welcome to Hong Kong, where you are on Lugard Road. Yeah, believe it or not, this is actually a road, Lugard Road. And we're making our way around Victoria's Peak, the tallest mountain on Hong Kong Island, and we'll be giving you a view of the city skyline. As soon as we get down to where those people are in about 10 seconds or so. Just got to get around these trees. And we can see the city once again. Can you drive down this road? The only people that are authorized to drive on this part of the road are police vehicles and fire vehicles. The other parts of the road, there are houses, and people who live there can get a permit to drive on it. But this part of the road is reserved only for emergency vehicles, and then only for very small emergency vehicles. The Hong Kong Fire Department maintains a very tiny fire truck up here on the peak. I mean, like a clown car, smaller than a golf cart, and a small police car and police motorcycles, and they're the only vehicles that are authorized. Now that said, in the last 4 years, I have seen vehicles on this part of the path maybe twice, and that's when they were conducting a rescue operation. Hey, thanks for the super heart, Mr. Coyote, and welcome to Hong Kong. No, they have a Suzuki minivan fire truck. In fact, if you look at my YouTube channel, I actually did a video on my YouTube channel chasing the tiny fire truck. And we chased a tiny fire truck around the peak, and we actually caught him the next day. They were on a rescue mission up here. So you're looking down on central Hong Kong, the business district, the banks, and financial institutions of Hong Kong right down below you. And of course, Victoria Harbour. I think it's on my Instagram, Penguin62. You can see some photos of that tiny fire truck. You can also see it on the Hong Kong Fire Department website. They have a vehicle page where they show you all the different vehicles in the Hong Kong Fire Service. And they have this tiny little van, and then they have this little golf cart rescue truck, stuff like that. They also use helicopters up here when people get trapped. Hello Europe, welcome to Asia, where it is a bone-chilling 10 Celsius right now. I do mean that, bone-chilling, because we don't have heat in our buildings. We live in a tropical rainforest, so adding heat and insulation is just a kind of a expense. They don't do that. I've lived here about 8 years. This is my home. Oops, my phone's ringing. I suspect this is my son who's homesick. Yes, it is. Hang on a second. Hey, did you take a nap? I'm on the peak. I'm on Lugard Road coming down, so I'll be home in about a half hour. 30 minutes, I'll be home, coming down the mountain. Yes. Have you napped? Did you take it? You're just resting. Okay, well, I'll be there in 30 minutes so we can go over your math, okay? Okay, I'll be there to help you. Yeah, well, don't worry about that. We'll be okay. All right? Lots of time. Yes. I'll see you in 30 minutes. Anything you want? Okay. I'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Yes, it's very expensive to live here if you wish to live like a Westerner. The average family in my son's international school spends $11,500 US per month in rent. Oh, he's calling again. I'm doing all right. Hey, I'm busy right now, sweetie. I'm coming home. I'll be there in a half hour. I'm at the Peak Tower. I'm coming down the Curly Q Road, okay? Okay. Bye. Yes, we do a lot of YouTube videos. I'm not from Texas. I'm from Washington, D.C., but I grew up in Illinois. So I have a standard, traditional Midwestern American accent. I sound like every other American. In fact, the Midwestern English is regarded as the easiest English for other Americans to understand. That's why a lot of call service centers are in there. Are they concerned about the stock market? Yes, but many people think it is a quant/algorithmic crash rather than a true panic. So they're not freaking out. This is in China. This is Hong Kong. We are part of the People's Republic of China. In fact, the Chinese army is stationed in the city. The Chinese national anthem is our national anthem. However, we have our own form of government, which is slightly different than the rest of China. We have our own legal system that is slightly different. We follow British common law legal system. Welcome to Periscope. Oh, big tree. Coming up to another lookout. You can actually see my house from here. Well, technically it's on the books for another 30 years, but it's creeping away all the time. So I live right down there in the mid-levels. My age, and my half plus 7 rule is 32, which means it's socially acceptable for me to date women who are 32 or older under the half plus 7 rule. But I'm married, so I don't really have to apply the half plus 7 rule. Except, well, when I'm dreaming. So Scarlett Johansson, watch out. You are within range. But Emma Watson, you are just too young. As are most celebrities. Ooh, did we lose our signal? No, I don't think so. So we're making our way back to the Peak Tower, which is over here, and then we're going to go down the mountain back to my home, where my son, who is homesick from school today, is waiting for me to help him with his math homework, which should be pretty easy. This is actually my favorite part of the path coming up. It's the most green and curvy. Well, there's actually a piece in the New York Times yesterday about the British common law legal system and how it's under threat in Hong Kong. They do fear what could be coming, especially since China's legal code is sort of based on German law, German legal system, but it's in desperate need of some severe restructuring, not just from, well, the end of corruption, but the code is so complex and complicated that it's not equally applied across the country. I know, of course, in the West we focus on things like free speech and stuff, but there are basic fundamental legal questions that need to be spelled out in the code. So I do walk quite a bit. I walk this road every day. Well, in 30 years, the government, the one country, two systems framework collapses in 30 years. Whether that stays or not is a very debatable point. We do not have the same censorship. We are outside the Great Firewall. So we are able to do that. The red sauce quarter pounder, yeah, that was pretty disgusting. If you go to my YouTube channel, Penguin6, you can see I have a special Hong Kong McDonald's section where you see me eat random stuff. Some of it pretty frightening. Like the red sauce, like the black pepper. Actually, the Prosperity Burgers are back. I probably should eat a Prosperity Burger before Chinese New Year. That's a McRib. Basically, it's a McRib with black pepper sauce instead of barbecue sauce. And it is nasty. Triple corner. Yes, on YouTube. YouTube Penguin6, I have a special section on the Hong Kong McDonald's. It's a playlist. Go to the McDonald's Gourmet sometimes. We have a gourmet McDonald's in Hong Kong. We don't really... You have to understand that the focus of Hong Kong is money. Money, money, money. Politics, i.e. the politics of the United States, Donald Trump. It doesn't really affect us one way or the other, so we sort of observe it like, well, you would observe, the mayoral race in a town on the other side of your state, Curiosity, interest, but, direct day-to-day impact, no, not really, yeah. So, that's kind of, what do you think of the current German elections? Exactly. It's cute, interesting, but on a day-to-day basis, whether Andrea Merkel maintains her majority or not is not the biggest thing. Yeah, a lot of puppies. A lot of people bring their puppies up here to hike. The world's top periscope, but not by a long shot. No, not at all. Is this real time? Yes, it is, Warlock White. How are you doing? I don't really getting scared of the dogs. Let's go to the other side so we can see this view, yeah? So we're back at the Peak Galleria. This is a shopping mall and tourist bus stop where the tourists come to. How can Periscope be like YouTube Live and get verified? I'm not really sure what you're asking there. Hey, you're just chilling to sleep. Oh, okay. Well, it's going to get really windy on the other side of this building because there's kind of this natural wind tunnel effect. All the wind coming up the mountain is funneled into this little channel here. I am walking. I don't really like chicken sausage. I eat it occasionally. Periscope Rewind Live. What's the difference? I've used both. Here comes the wind. Whee! This will stop in a few seconds. This is the line for the tram. So we're going to walk down now. Excuse me. Let's make our way down. The tram is still coming up. We'll see the tram a little bit later. At this point, we're 28 minutes to my house. I have timed this many times. 28 minutes, 3,200 steps. Let's get over here to this lookout. I think we should see the tram in a moment. Yeah. I'm not really sure. Maybe the tram is farther down. Yeah, I can't wait for spring either. So they just fenced this off. This was where I used to fly the drone. Yeah? My drone command center was right over here, and now it's covered with a fence. Really quite frustrating. Got to find a new place to fly the drone. Not really sure why they decided to fence this off. They just like putting up fences and signs sometimes. Is this walk safe at night? Of course. This is Hong Kong. This is one of the safest cities in the world. We have one of the lowest violent crime rates in the world. We had 24 murders last year for 7.3 million people. Put that in terms you might understand in America. If Chicago had 8 murders a year, you'd have the same murder rate as Hong Kong. So imagine Chicago with 8 murders a year, or LA with 12, or Baltimore, Maryland with 2 murders a year. That's the murder rate of Hong Kong. Violent street crime is very, very low. So it's a very safe city. It's a very safe walk. The only concern with the walk is snakes. There are a few snakes that come out at night, and you don't want to step on a snake, especially if it's venomous. Bamboo pit viper is a nocturnal snake. Where is this tram? Maybe we can make it away and we'll see it when we get around the corner. Since I don't hear it, I think we got a few moments to get down there and get into position to see it. Some lost tours. Maybe I'll help them. Sundan. It's that way. Need some directions?
We're just trying to get to the top.
That way.
Keep going up there.
You can go that way, but it's 3 times as long. Yeah. Are you trying to go to the true peak or just the observation level?
The cheapest peak.
Just the top, the highest, or just the place where you can see the best view? Best view? Just go up here, yeah? Go past the big building, and on the other side, there's what's called the Circle Trail. And you take that to your right, walk about a kilometer, and you'll have breathtaking views. It's called the Morning Trail. Yeah, sure. Sorry, I had to help the tourist. You should see the tram. We're at Barker Road now, Barker Road. And the tram should be here any moment, given how... Here it comes. Hello, tourists. That's the peak tram, bringing about 200 tourists per car up here to the peak. Let's make our way down here. Feeding the pigs or something. There's a lot of wild pigs down here. So we got to watch out for the wild pigs. I did not enjoy my chicken earlier today. I was actually quite depressed. I think that's the problem with that place, is it's really hit or miss. Sometimes it's delicious, sometimes it sucks. I've lived here 8 years. I'm a permanent resident of Hong Kong. I have my green card, to put it in the American vernacular. So I have the right to remain in Hong Kong pretty much as long as I want, as long as I can afford it. Which, to be honest, is the bigger battle. Hey, Vet, how are you? See you there. So let's go see if we can find these pigs. They're a wild boar in the jungle here, and sometimes they come up, especially when the workmen are out here. They throw their lunches over the side, and then the boar just decide to rut through all this looking for food. I am in Hong Kong Island. I'm on Barker Road, Barker Road. Probably about number 40 Barker Road right now, 45 Barker Road if you want to Google map it. And this is my normal walk I do every day. This is about a 4 or 5 mile hike I do pretty much every morning. I'm doing it this afternoon because it was just too cold this morning. I don't see the piggies. Okay. He's washing the grass. How to get out of the way. Ooh, a concrete pump. There are 2 routes from the peak. From the peak, there's a couple routes. There's this route, which I enjoy the most. There's a quicker route when I'm in a hurry. I can stay on this road and go farther and then come back, but that's kind of pointless. And I can go the main traffic route, but that has no sidewalks. I can also take the tram down. Come here in April. Oh, cool. Well, send me a Twitter, Penguin6, when you get here. You can go for a hike with me if you want. I don't see the pigs. We are looking for them, but no sign of them right now. So this place, in case you're wondering, is about $15,000 US a month for 1,600 square feet. Oh, I hear them. There they are. Jesus, that's the daddy. He's huge. Holy crap. Look at that guy. Scared him too. He scared me. He's a big monster. God, he was just like knocking down trees. Yeah, $15,000 US a month. The weather at the end of April will be the start of the warm period. You should dress for, well, if you're coming from the US, it'll be summer-like. But here it'll be 80s Fahrenheit, probably definitely 80s. Nothing in the 90s in April. But a chance of rain. Do not bring a raincoat. Consider an umbrella. I've been to Hong Kong Disneyland. I'm a dad. I do dad stuff. This neighborhood is a pretty wealthy neighborhood. Yeah, it costs quite a bit of money to live here. This man paid $42 million for this land. $42 million US just for the land. And then he built his house. We're going home. We got to walk down Barker Road. We're going to go past the house that cost $193 million. Then a couple that cost $100 million. And then we're going to make our way down to my house. Is that a mansion? Yeah, he had to build this massive driveway and then a massive platform up there and then put the houses on top of it. Actually, I think he built 3 houses up there. Yeah, I think he built 3 houses. This is the driveway. And then each house will probably sell for at least $100 million US. I would suspect. My house is a 1,000 square foot apartment, 3 bedrooms. The rent is $8,200 US a month. If I wanted to buy it, though, it would be $4 million US. $4 million US to buy, which is a bit much. It's a lot of bitcoins. $8,200 a month plus utilities. The average family in my son's international school is spending about $11,500 US a month. And my son's best friend, their family spends about $31,000 US a month. $31,000 US a month. I think we would be considered upper middle class in the United States, but not rich, not like filthy rich or anything. Here we're, amongst the expat community, the financial community, we're probably middle class. Compared to the locals, we have money. Actually, a lot of the locals are richer than us. It is quite a bit, but then again, I also spend $14 US for a gallon of milk. A box of Cheerios runs about 10 US. A thing of salad dressing is about 6. Brownie mix can be about $4 or $5 US. A gallon of gasoline is $8 US. But McDonald's is about the same price. And we have a gourmet McDonald's. Yeah, we have a waitress service McDonald's. Oh my gosh, they've started construction here. So this is the $193 million house owned by Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba.com, one of the world's largest internet sites. He's worth about 31 billion US dollars, 31 billion US. And he bought this house for $193 million. And then he tore it down. Yeah. I guess when you buy a house for nearly 200 million US, if you don't like it, rip it down. The salaries are actually comparable to New York and London financial salaries, but you get what's called a package, a cost of living allowance, to pay for international schools and for housing. I do eat street food here, but not like in Thailand. Thailand has different types of street food. So here it is, the $193 million hole in the ground. Yeah, this was a house that he paid $193 million for, and then he bulldozed it. And now it ain't much. It's just a big piece of land. He's going to build a new house here, supposedly. We'll see in the weeks and months to come. Ooh, windy time. I know, that's what 100... as people have said, it's a $190 million view, $3 million house. This is on the Peak, Hong Kong. You are on Barker Road, B-A-R-K-E-R Road, 22 Barker Road to be exact, on Hong Kong Island in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region of the People's Republic of China. That's Red China for you cold warriors. And we're going to go over here and see the riffraff neighbors. I mean, if you buy a house for $193 million, you can't really control who your neighbors are. So the houses over here are only $100 million US. Hey, Long Beach. Well, crime is very, very low here in Hong Kong. There are a few burglaries up here now and then. Actually, when there is a burglary up here, it's actually newspaper writes about it. Is this like the Beverly Hills? It's probably more expensive than Beverly Hills, and not as ostentatious. I mean, there's no fake gold columns. It's more just Titanic. Umpu. A little bit of French, but not much. Hey, so this is Hong Kong. So this place here is a 6-bedroom, 6,000 square foot place. And this is 100 million US. 100 million US. But if you can't afford that, you can rent the place next to it. The place next to it is 65,000 US dollars per month. 65 grand American dollars per month in rent. Aberdeen is a city, a fishing village on the south side of the island. There is a reservoir and country park around Aberdeen. Everything is kind of a tropical forest. It's not really labeled as such. We call them country parks. There are city parks, which are, swing sets and fountains and stuff like that. And then there are country parks, which are undeveloped, undisturbed areas. Who knows what it lurks in the country parks? Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yetis. Build a house up here. The land for that last place that we showed you was 42 million. Just the land. 42 million US dollars. That bought him a plot of land on which he could build his house. One of the most expensive houses in the world is up on the True Peak. He paid $270 million for a teardown. Yeah, $270 million for nothing. Just the land, basically. Yeah, see, that's the other thing. The mortgage payments here, and this is, by the way, it's Barker Road, B-A-R-K, is 40% down. I have been to Disneyland many times. Kings Road. It's over in North Point, Kings Road. It's kind of, it's near a ferry, but not the ferry you probably want. The ferry from Kings Road goes over to a part of Kowloon that, well, frankly, you wouldn't really go there. I don't even know if we have property tax here. I don't think we do. We have very low taxes. There's some sort of tax, I assume. North Point's a very local part of Hong Kong. There are some gentrification efforts in some areas. There's some nice places. There's a really good egg waffle place in North Point, Hong Kong on the Kings Road. The ferry from there goes to a part of Kowloon that, don't do it. I have chased a wild boar. I have not been chased by one. I've been stared down by many wild boar because they are kind of everywhere. I do walk this trail pretty much every day. I haven't walked it in about 5 days because of the weather. It has been so cold. But on a normal daily basis, this is my normal route. In fact, tomorrow morning I will be back here on my normal routine walk. As I go for my 20,000 steps a day. Yesterday's steps were on the treadmill. Yep, I did about 2 hours on the treadmill. Watched a couple French cop shows, Engrenage, a cop show out of Paris. Engrenage is a pretty cool cop show, so I was watching that. And caught up on season 6. And then I started watching Hard Sun, which is a BBC cop show. So we're heading home. I don't know what we're going to eat when we get home. Probably pretzels, maybe a salad. Tiny bite. Your hotel is in North Point. I strongly recommend the egg waffles in North Point. You can Google egg waffle North Point. I think it's called Li Kong Ki or something like that. There is an egg waffle place there that is famous. It's one of the places everybody goes. North Point is actually where a lot of mainland Chinese have settled in recent years. It's still on Hong Kong Island. You also want to check out Electric Road. Electric Road is in Tai Hong, which is only about 1 or 2 stops away from North Point. Electric Road is the dessert street of Hong Kong. A lot of restaurants selling desserts. A lot of good places to eat on Electric Road in Tai Hong. And Tin Hau, Tinhau. Tin Hau is another neighborhood just around there. Very trendy hipster restaurants back in that neighborhood, Tin Hau. Definitely off the tour guide books, but it's definitely where all the locals go. Tin Hau, Tai Hong, Electric Road, and the egg waffles in North Point. A few little treats for you. In fact, I drive over to North Point sometimes just to get the egg waffles. Kids are like, "Dad, not again." I'm like, "Egg waffles." I do have my OJ gloves on, though to be honest, I could, and I probably will actually take them off right now. It's not as cold here. As I come down the mountain, I'm coming down from about 1,400 feet down to about 600 feet. And that's a temperature drop of 2 or 3 degrees Celsius, about 3 or 4 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 or 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So now I'm back au naturel. Oh, there's a guy riding a bike. That's stupid. Egg waffles are good. Egg puffs. Did I get lost? No. In fact, the first time I took it, I was with my 2 children, one of whom was in a stroller. And it was very hot. I have to confess, that is the first time I've ever seen a bicycle on this road. Do I do trips to mainland China? Occasionally, to Shenzhen. In fact, next week we're thinking of going to Shanghai to visit some family, but haven't quite got around to it. Booking that flight, we'll see. Maybe I'll check this afternoon. I'll be home shortly and see my son, help him with his math homework. See my other son. See you later. He has a really bad cough today. No fever, no upset stomach, no runny nose, just a really bad cough. And we held him back. He's been drinking hot water most of the day to soothe his throat. My wife is American. She was born in China. I actually have an Antminer S9 from Bitmain, which is one of the top Bitcoin miners. It's actually being delivered this week, but I haven't quite decided if I'm going to sell the miner and take the profit right away or start mining coins, which means I have to ship the thing to Canada and find a thing. Yeah, it was almost 3,000 US. Jack Ma is doing the groundwork prep for his new house. It's about 3,000 US, but they're actually going for about 4,000 US on eBay, 4 or 5,000 US. So I'm half in mind to just turn around and sell the miner. And then I thought maybe I should just plug it in, run it, see what we can make. Shoot, there's something up here. Birds, I hope. Birds. I think my son's calling again. Check the other phone. Oh, yeah. Mosquitoes. They are an issue in Hong Kong, but not really up where I am right this second because it's a little bit high. The mosquitoes tend to stay down a bit lower. This is actually, literally right about here is where they sort of switch up. My youngest son likes American food a lot. My older son, more Asian food. My older son does not like sweets. You give him candy, he might eat it. He won't get excited about it. He'll just be like, all right, I'll eat your cupcake. My younger son's like, I want more cupcakes. I want hamburger. My younger son would eat hamburgers every day if we let him. My older one would eat hamburgers maybe once a week. In fact, today he had squid and some beef soup, and for dinner he's asked for fried rice and some chicken teriyaki for dinner. Youngest would be like, McDonald's. Pushed the screen a little too many times. You almost saw what I look like. Scary. Thought that would be. It's difficult today because we have such big white contrast between the path, which is dark, and the city, which is all lit up. Wow, looks like another tree fell down here. It's like, oh, they cut it. They cut these trees. I guess they decided to make a lookout here. Interesting. Oh, that's right. They were here the other day looking at some trees that were kind of rotten. My children are speaking English and Mandarin Chinese. My youngest, his first language was Mandarin. He spoke Mandarin until he was about 3. Our nanny in the United States only spoke Mandarin, and my mother-in-law only spoke Mandarin. So my oldest grew up speaking Mandarin first, then English. My youngest, he moved over here when he was 18 months, so he grew up here speaking English. He actually spoke with a Filipino twang, a little Filipino accent, because his nanny was Filipino. But both children study Mandarin Chinese and speak Mandarin Chinese. The older one speaks a little better than the younger one. They also can read simplified Chinese characters. Very good stuff. So this is the 6-bedroom, 6,000 square foot house. This is for rent, $33,000 US a month. Number 1 Chatham Path, Chatham Path, Chatham Path. This used to be a school for Eurasian children, mixed-race children, who were not socially accepted in the Chinese world or the Caucasian world of colonial England. So there were a lot of resources specifically designed for Eurasian kids, including this school, which was for Eurasian kids. The Hong Kong Volunteer Force, which was the Hong Kong militia under the British, actually had a battalion called the Eurasian Battalion, which was mixed-race children who fought in defense of Her Majesty with the Hong Kong Volunteers. They fought very bravely, actually, the Eurasian Division. But like all other imperial forces here in Hong Kong, they were beaten by the Japanese in World War II. But for their efforts, the volunteers were known as the Royal Hong Kong Volunteers. They received a royal charter from the Queen. This road is on Google Maps. This is known as the Central Green Trail or Chatham Path, Chatham Path. We're between Barker Road, Barker Road, and May Road, May Road. And if you go to the May Road tram station, that's where you pick up this path. And this path will take you up to Barker Road. Interesting enough, General Barker, who was in charge of Her Majesty's forces in England. Hong Kong University is a little bit far. It's around the mountain. You can't see it from here. General Barker was in charge of His Majesty's forces. His aide was a gentleman named May. May went on to become the governor of Hong Kong and the son-in-law of General Barker as he married Barker's daughter, Helena. Helena Barker May was a prominent socialite in turn-of-the-century Hong Kong. She opened the Helena May, which is a women's dormitory / refuge, which handled the needs of the expat women moving from England to work in civil service jobs here in Hong Kong, many of them thousands of miles from home, somewhat lonely and easy prey for the nefarious Hong Kong men, the expat men. So the Helena May was a safe refuge for many of those women to get acclimated and accustomed to life in the empire. I joke this should be called Helena Path, but oh well. That did connect May and Barker. If you look at my YouTube channel, Penguin6, you can see last week they found a bomb, a World War II bomb in central Hong Kong. The police had to defuse the bomb. Hong Kong was bombed by the U.S. Air Force throughout World War II, including the Flying Tigers. The Flying Tigers bombed Hong Kong. We're in Guangzhou. A lot of Russians didn't expect that. Do they have executions here? No, they have not had the death penalty in many years. We have a very low crime rate. We did have a serial killer 2 years ago, but he is serving a life sentence in prison. He killed two Indonesian prostitutes in a cocaine and alcohol-induced orgy of violence and sex. And on top of that, he videotaped himself doing it. What a frickin' sicko. So we're at the May Road tram station, right down there. That was interesting. Okay, and we unplugged the microphone accidentally. So if it's late at night where you are, you can just go into Google and type Rurik Jutting, Rurik Jutting. Rurik Jutting. He was Hong Kong's Indonesian prostitute serial killer. Read some of the details of the case, but only if you have the light on. It is not bedtime reading. In fact, jurors in the trial during the voir dire session by the attorneys were asked one specific question. Are you disturbed by watching horror films? The jurors had to answer this question before they could be accepted to the jury of the Rurik Jutting murder, because he videotaped the execution and dismemberment of these women. So the jurors, if they had too many squeamish feelings and couldn't watch a horror film, they were ruled out at that point and thanked for their time. Yes, Rurik Jutting, Rurikjutting. Read it with the lights out, if you dare. Yes, you can do a Google on that. He actually killed the prostitute, and then he called the police. The police showed up, and they said it was the most disgusting thing they had ever seen. The walls were essentially painted with blood and body parts. As the CSIs were cleaning up, they spent 8 hours categorizing every piece of evidence in the apartment. And then one of the young cops said, "Did anyone check the patio?" The two CSI guys, "No, we haven't had a chance to go out there." They went outside, and what was on the patio but a bar stool and a chair and a suitcase? Yes, a very large suitcase. The CSIs decided they had to open the suitcase, and they did, and guess what? There was another one. another sliced and diced Indonesian prostitute inside the suitcase out on the balcony of the murderer's house. The police then asked the question, this guy could have been doing this. That's your bedtime reading, folks. Rurik Jutting, R-U-R-I-K-J-U-T-T-I-N-G. He's serving a life sentence in Stanley Prison, the maximum security prison of Hong Kong. And this is my son calling me one more time. Hello. I'm downstairs. Look out the window. I'm just around the corner. Yes. I'll be home in about 1 or 2 seconds. I'm coming up the elevator shortly. Okay, bye. My son just wants attention. Those are the only known victims. What's rather scary, he's actually confessed into the camera after he murdered the first woman. He had tortured her and raped her for several days, and then he murdered her, and he said to himself, I could see myself doing this again sometime. It was a lot of fun. In fact, I could see myself going to England, staking out a private school and kidnapping a couple girls from a private school and keeping them as my own. This was real Silence of the Lamb kind of stuff. Good Lord, son. Puppy. He did some really wacky cocaine with a vodka shooter. Was Jack the Ripper kind of stuff. Rurik Jutting, R-U-R-I-K-J-U-T-T-I-N-G. Feel free to read all the transcripts of the trial. Because now, guys, I'm home. I'm home and I got to go up in this building. It's been nice chatting with you. I will be back tomorrow with another hike on the peak and lunch. But for now, go to my YouTube channel, Penguin6, to see more videos.